Hello and welcome to Feelz Right Quiz Night.
What a delight!
I am your host, the Quizzard, and this is the sidekick, Mr. Jeffords, and a huge hello to all of our stream queens watching on Twitch. Brought to you by the Annoyance Theater. Absolutely thrilled to be presented by the Annoyance, the iconic comedy theater based out of Chicago and formerly New York, but they had to shut that one down, but still going strong in Chicago and now presenting us live on Twitch. And also a huge hello to all of the contestants who are here logged into the Zoom room, getting ready to duke it out for another week of fun on a mun. Yeah, I mean, I think basically what we need to do is get going on ye ol' Jeff Probst Memorial Candle. As you know, I have been making my way very slowly through this box of matches. Today, I'm going to relight the match that I relit last time in order to relight the candle tonight for the show. So, Jeff, may you guide us, as you always do, through another heartwarming, show-stopping...
Come on in, guys! That's what he says.
One of Jeff's iconic lines. Now, I think I'm going to be able to get another 2 or 3 lights out of this match. And then I'll flip it upside down. Actually, I think I could probably get through the whole season with just this one match. But we're going to see. What I am going to do is wait till it burns out. Wait till it burns out completely before I put it back in the match.
That could be an exciting quiz.
That would be an exciting moment here. Feelz Right Quiz Night. Grab the fire extinguisher, which we do actually have. Okay, so without further ado, gonna pass things over to the sidekick, Mr. Jeffords, for an update on points from last week. Sidekick, take it away.
All right, updates from last week. How do you think you did? Well, I'm going to tell you, obviously. All right, in third place, with 1 point on the board, we have Avid Birders, Baby Sharks, The Dammit Janets, Dr. Quiz and Trivia Woman, Hammocks, Juicy Peaches, Lone Wolf, Only Pack 3 Pairs of Undies, Strasser Things, and Tank.
Yes!
Yeah! All right,
Wow,
let's see those celebrations. Okay, and then in second place, 2 points on the board, we have the Claudia Conway Emancipators, Floofzilla, Hardcore Tet, Just a Small Town Spice Girl, Madame Cha-Cha Chantrell, and Nom Chomp.
Whoa.
Of course.
Okay, well, no pressure.
Which leaves
in third.
first place. Someone unmuted themselves,
I
but
love
that's
a
okay.
random, I love a random unmuting.
First place, artist formerly known as Celine Dion, GNO, Gulag Nouveau, Our Best Friends, and Sleepy in the Suburbs. What a treat.
Wow.
All right, don't worry, many of you are hot on their heels, okay? So it's still anyone's
Game.
But you might be wondering, where does that leave us overall over the course of the several weeks that we've been hotly competing? Well, the standings are in, and including high fives. Remember, that's half a point for a 5 out of 5 round. Here's where we stand. Deep breaths. Are you nervous? Third place so far, we have the Claudia Conway Emancipators, Floofzilla, and Hardcore Tet.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
Second place, we have Just a Small Town Spice Girl, Our Best Friends, and Sleepy in the Suburbs.
Whoa.
Which
Okay.
leaves, currently, for now, or maybe forever, in first place,
You never know.
GNO.
Okay.
OMG.
Wow.
LMFAO.
Yeah, when you
ROFLMAO.
when you
That's
said
great.
you know, breathing a sigh of relief, I was like, I definitely breathed a sigh of relief earlier this week or in this past weekend, and also tonight, as I'm sure many of us are.
Oh yeah, once you found out you were on the board, you were all like, ooh,
Yeah.
this week just got even better.
So it is a hot and sticky competition for our contestants. Stream Queens, I wonder how you're measuring up against our players here in the game. You know, if you're at home playing along, you know, get out a pen and paper, grab your neighbor. One day we'll have the app, but until then, go old school with it all, okay? All right, so back to me. Okay, yes, so ding. So, prizes. We are going to start announcing prizes next week. So that's really exciting. So, you know, just hold your breath until then. And before we get launching into the game, I think we need to crack a bev.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Don't want anyone to be alarmed, but We're doing things a little bit differently tonight here at Feelz Right Quiz Night. Just gonna put all my muscle into this. All right, cheers. Just a couple of men drinking beers.
That's crisp.
Wow, that's wheaty.
Yeah, that's nice.
Drinking a little logical conclusion from Threes Brewing here in Brooklyn. Brooklyn's own Threes Brewing.
This is their Vliet. It's like their signature Pilsner.
Wow.
Award-winning. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, a little bit more on Threes later, but for now, we're just going to enjoy this delicious beer. Thank you, Threes. Sorry to the gin gods, but tonight it's all about beer. Okay, so before we launch into the quiz, first things first, please remember that we abide by the honor system here at Feelz Right Quiz Night. It's the honor system. You need to, rely on what's jogging around, ye old noggin, and just go with what you know. And if you're unsure of an answer, just use your best to try to deduce the answer, and maybe just go with whatever comes as the logical conclusion. Thanks, Threes Brewing, for this can of beer.
You can't Vliet it.
All right. Without further ado, I think it feels right to launch into
Season 1, round 1, which, as always, is current events.
Current events. Okay, here we go. Round 1, question 1. In what will undoubtedly go down as the historic 2020 U.S. election, the world was wrapped as the presidency was up for grabs, along with seats in the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives. 13 indigenous American candidates from 8 states were vying for 11 House seats in Congress this past Tuesday. How many won their seats? 13 indigenous American candidates from 8 states were vying for 11 House seats in Congress this past Tuesday. How many won their seats? Question 2. While the U.S. election might not have been the slam dunk left-leaning people might have hoped for, it didn't go off the rails completely like this train that was left dangling precariously from a sculpture of a whale's tail. The train derailed and crashed through a barrier on a bridge before being caught by the sculpture. No one was injured. Where did the train derail onto the whale's tail? Half a point for the city, half a point for the country. Where did the train derail onto the whale's tail?
Oh, hail.
If that tickled your fancy, just feel free to say it out loud a few times. Where did the train derail onto the whale's tail?
Oh, hail.
Okay, half a point for the city and half a point for the country. Question 3. The robot takeover of the retail sector has been seemingly nigh for the last few years, with robots believed to be better at keeping track of inventory, roving aisles, and stocking shelves. But the 29 million Americans and 2.2 million Canadians who are employed by the retail sector have one less thing to be worried about. This company is ending its partnership with a leading robotics firm, having apparently realized that humans tend to be better and faster at doing tasks than robots. What's the company? What company is scrapping the robots in retail? Just choking a little bit on my own saliva. I guess I need to wash that down with a little Threes Brewing logical conclusion. What company came to the logical conclusion that humans are better than robots in retail? Question 4. How's it going out there, everyone? Hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling gorgeous. Hope you're feeling sparkly. Hope you're feeling hopeful. everyone out there in the entire world. Hope you're feeling all those things. Question 4. Joe Biden and the Democrats aren't the only big winner this week. There is a new most viewed video ever on YouTube that bumped the former reigning champion Despacito from the top spot. What is the video? What is the now most viewed vid on YouTube? Okay. Question 5. Prominent pastor Carl Lentz, who is known for his connections to celebs like Justin Bieber, has been fired from his job at this megachurch for, quote, moral failings after cheating on his wife. What church did he lead? What church did he lead, and what church ejected Carl Lentz?
Happens, you know?
It does. Sort of to a disturbing degree. I would say.
Really?
Well, I just mean
cheating.
No, I'm talking about religious leaders getting embroiled in scandals that
Nobody's perfect.
I know, but pick a different profession if you want to be a, you know what I mean? Not that it's like more acceptable in another profession.
Lawyer, used car salesman.
I don't know. I mean, look, it's complicated. I think oftentimes cheating is the cause, not the symptom necessarily, but it can be complicated and layered, and it can be...
Yeah.
Anyway, let's not get into this too much tonight. Maybe in the after show. All right. Okay, so the lines are open. You can start sending your answers into the sidekick, Mr. Jeffords. We're going to do a quick recap here. Question 1, how many Indigenous Americans candidates won their congressional seats in the House of Representatives? Question 2, in what city and country, half a point each, did the train go off the rails? I forget the little twing tuster. This logical conclusion has got me speaking the wrong verbs and consonants. Question 3, what company is scrapping the robots in retail? Question 4, what is the most viewed vid on YouTube? And question 5, what church ejected Pastor Carl Lentz? Okay. Like I said, the lines are open. Get your answers into the sidekick, Monsieur Jeffort. And while we are on a quick little, scoring situation, I just want to thank those of you, the contestants, and the viewers over on Twitch watching as our lovely stream queens. Those of you who have made your donation to the Ali Forney Center, we thank you very much. Feelz Right Quiz Night is a fundraiser for the Ali Forney Center, who do phenomenal work on behalf of homeless LGBTQIA2S+ youth here in New York City. I would argue one of, if not the, maybe not, I don't know, but it's not about comparing vulnerability, but definitely a vulnerable population who need our support, especially at such a precarious time as the one that we are living through now. So the sidekick is going to throw a link to the donation page for those of you who are contestants in the Zoom room. Those of you who are watching live on Twitch, if you are feeling compelled to make a donation to the Ali Forney Center, you can just go to their website and make a donation. If you'd like to make it through our page, I think you could probably find it if you just Google Ali Forney Center and Feelz Right Quiz Night. That's Feelz with a Z or a Z if you're in Canada. And I believe my mother is out there watching on Twitch tonight. So Leslie, Margaret, if you're out there, make that donation. Okay, so let's go over the answers for round 1.
Maybe give him just one more minute.
Oh, 1 more minute.
I've still got some answers coming.
Okay, well, let's just see how people are doing out there in as far as the contestants go. Contestants, if you need another 10 or 15 seconds, why don't you just flash a little bit of a thumbs up? It looks like, okay, I see a thumb up from Claudia Conway Experience. So people do need a little bit more time. Okay, you've got 15 seconds to get your answers into the sidekick. Only packed 3 pairs of undies is looking positively calm. Spanish Inquisition, leaning into a new position, may perhaps just getting re-comfortabilized. Hard Quartet, hand on forehead. Doesn't bode well for a round well played. Marza Pandemonium, looking absolutely confident and calm, as is Nom Chomp and Dr. Quizzin Trivia Woman. Shaved Mango, looking perky and excited. Great to have you here, Shaved. Tank, how's it going out there? You guys did great last week. It was amazing. I was so happy to see and hear that you placed. What an absolute thrill for me to know that one of my high school chums is acing the quiz. Shameless has been apparently reportedly forgetting to change her name on Zoom and entering work meetings with the name Shameless.
That is shameless.
That is shameless. Okay, so listen, the window of opportunity for getting your answers in is closing now. All right, let's get into these answers. I'm gonna take a sip of Logical Conclusion, cheers, from Threes Brewing, based here in Brooklyn, New York. What a delicious beer. I have come to the logical conclusion that I'm probably gonna slam a 4-pack of these tall boys tonight.
Dang!
Just kidding.
Please don't.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to. I mean, I might. You know,
Well, you
never know.
could.
You know what?
Very
I'm still
slammable.
I'm still slammable. Threes Brewing. I will say that I have been celebrating since the weekend. I will say that. Okay, let's go over the answers. So here we go. Question 1. Undoubtedly go down as the historic 2020 US election. The cause of my celebration. 13 Indigenous American candidates from 8 states vying for 11 House seats in Congress this past Tuesday. How many won their seats? The answer is 6. There will be 6 Indigenous Americans in the House of Representatives. It's a record-breaking number. New Mexico will be the first state to have 2 Indigenous women as congressional delegates, and the state also became the first to elect women of color as all 3 of its delegates in the U.S. House of Representatives. How cool is that?
Bonus point to Rio del Norte for New Mexico.
Yeah,
Let's
because
do it.
New Mexico, thank you, El Rayo del Norte, one of our teams here in the Zoom room, is repping that state, and as the sidekick just said, they are going to get a bonus point for that. Question 2. While the U.S. election might not have been the slam dunk, this train was left dangling. There's more to how that idea is put together, but let's just get on with it. The train derailed, crashed through a wall, hooked onto a whale's tail in Rotterdam, Netherlands. Rotterdam, the Netherlands. I see just a small town. Spice Girl did some clapping, or maybe like a Vogue maneuver that would lead me to believe that perhaps that team got that answer correct. Question 3. Robot takeover of the retail sector. Apparently, robots not so great after all. Stocking shelves and that kind of thing. Humans are faster. The company that's ending their partnership is Walmart. Walmart. Happy to hear that Walmart, you know, I actually don't know a ton of the details around this, but Walmart, you know, pulled the plug on selling guns, which I think is a very positive thing that they did.
For now, or?
I think for now, probably not forever, but for now, I don't know the details, so I can't actually speak to it in great detail, but even that they would make a gesture like that in a short term, such a behemoth company that is so entwined with so many of the other issues that our society faces, I'm absolutely thrilled that they would do that. So, way to go, Walmart. Question 4. Probably never to be said again by me. Question 4. Joe Biden and the Democrats aren't the only big winner this week. Baby Shark, the earworm of the millennium, has displaced Despacito as the top viewed video on YouTube. Baby shark.
Not only
How
that,
does it
they're
go
also
again?
a team in the game, so bonus point for Baby Sharks.
Bonus point for baby sharks. Yeah.
Congrats, you earned it.
I always think it's baby sharks.
Do.
See, now I'm
I
thinking
think.
if it's right, but when I'm on my own, I'm like baby shark. And what's the thing that I think it is? Anyway. Yeah, I'm like baby shark. Anyway, it's not right. What's right is they are the most viewed video on YouTube. Question 5. Prominent pastor Carl Lentz. Moral failings. Justin Bieber's a member. I wonder what the Biebs has to say about all of this.
So dreamy, though. He just couldn't help it.
Well, who? Carl Lentz?
Carl Lentz.
I've never seen a picture of him. Okay, apparently he's dreaming, so dreamy. He's attractive, so he couldn't help but cheat on his wife. Okay, who knows? What church did he lead? Hillsong. Hillsong. Hillsong is the answer that we were looking for. Okay, so now, feels right to launch into
round 2, which this week, we had to do it. It is the legacy of Alex Trebek.
Yeah. The legacy of sweet, sweet Alex Trebek. This is a round of questions all inspired by the late, great Alex Trebek, who, you know what? Jeff might be on his way out for season 4. You never know. I don't want to say now. It's too soon to say, but or maybe it could be a duel. Maybe we could
memorial
start
candle for an actual deceased person.
Well, that's in some
that
ways, yeah.
makes
Actually, you know
sense.
what? I'm gonna move Jeff back here and just start preparing the altar for Alex.
Okay.
So here we go. Round 2, question 1, the legacy of Alex Trebek. Here we go. Question 1. Canadian sweetheart Alex Trebek spent the first 12 years of his life in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, which is about a 5-hour drive north of Toronto, 6 or 7 in traffic. This is the traditional land of the Ojibwe people, who were the first inhabitants of this area and whose territory extends through Ontario and into Wisconsin, Minnesota, and North Dakota. Prior to this land being habitable, it was covered in super thick ice that retreated 9,000 or 8,000 years ago from this area. What is the name of the continental ice sheet that covered virtually all of Canada and significant parts of the northern United States of America? What is the name of the continental ice sheet that covered virtually all of Canada and significant parts of the northern USA and retreated 8,000 or 9,000 years ago, at which point the Ojibwe people began to populate the area?
And then eventually Alex
Trebek rolled in. Yeah.
With his suitcase,
Yeah, he just wandered on in with a suitcase and said, "This'll do." Now, I wonder how far Sudbury is, if it's just a straight shot from Barrie. We have a team here, Spanish Inquisition, hunkered down in Barrie, Ontario. I'm going to say it's about a 2-hour drive from Barrie, but maybe they can sound off in the comment bar here in the Zoom room and let us know. And we can let all our viewers... Everyone's dying to know. How do you get from Barrie to... Is it a straight shot from Barrie to Sudbury? Maybe it's sort of horizontally across. I think it's further north than Barrie. I'd have to look at a map. Okay, question 2. Jeopardy first hit the airwaves in 1975, but was canceled and rebooted multiple times before Alex Trebek took over as the host on September 10th, 1984, where he stayed put for 37 years. While September 10th will forever be associated with Alex Trebek's iconic debut on Jeopardy in syndication, where he rocked this look. What a sweetheart. The date is also historic for all but one of the following events. This is a multiple choice question. Which event did not go down on September 10th? Is it A, Muhammad Ali lands the, quote, phantom punch and knocks out Sonny Liston in 2 minutes and 12 seconds on September 10th, 1965. B, Canadian Prime Minister Mackenzie King declares war on Germany on September 10th, 1939. C. The last person is executed by guillotine in France on September 10th, 1977. D. Nirvana releases Smells Like Teen Spirit on September 10th, 1991. E. Cats the Musical closes on Broadway on September 10th, 2000. After opening in 1982. It's an 18-year run. That's pretty impressive for a bunch of squeaky cats. Option F. The U.S. Senate Committee begins hearings on Clarence Thomas's nomination to the Supreme Court on September 10th, 1991. 1991. G. Joe DiMaggio becomes the first to hit 3 home runs in a game on September 10th, 1950. Which event did not go down on September 10th?
What a day.
God. That means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these iconic events occurred on the same day that Alex Trebek began his tenure as the host of Jeopardy. Incredible. I would place Alex Trebek's debut at the pinnacle of all those other activities. Sorry, Prime Minister Mackenzie King. Okay, question 3. Despite knowing that the quiz show format had lost credibility after revelations of games being rigged, as depicted in that film.
Don't listen to them.
What was that film called? Quiz Show?
Quiz show.
Yeah, Quiz Show. Nothing's rigged here.
Haven't
Nothing's
watched
rigged
it.
here. Anyway, despite knowing that the quiz show format had lost credibility after revelations of games being rigged, this media mogul and TV host created Jeopardy! And he also wrote the show's iconic theme song. Who is he? Who is he? Who created Jeopardy! And also wrote the theme song? This media mogul and TV host created Jeopardy! And also wrote the iconic theme song. Who is he? Question 4. Alex Trebek cemented himself as a cultural icon and appeared frequently as himself in movies like Charlie's Angels and on television programs like SNL, The Simpsons, Baywatch. He even ran a leg with the Olympic torch in advance of the 1996 Summer Games in this city. What city did Trebek gallop toward whilst holding a stick lit on fire? What city did Trebek gallop toward whilst holding a stick lit on fire toward the 1996 Summer Games?
Great games.
You know I'm partial to the Winter Olympics.
That's true, you are.
You know, we got into
It's very
Tara
Canadian.
Tara Lipinski in week 1, and many believe that it was when she nailed the triple toe loop, half loop, triple sow toward the end of the program. That's when she clinched the gold. But that has nothing to do with this. But we can talk about that as part of the after show when we get into the other topic, which is what, cheating and the layers of complexity
Yeah.
involved in
Yeah, that and the Olympics.
stepping out. Cheating is so harsh. I think stepping out. Anyway, okay, here we go. Question 5. Alex Trebek hosted more than 8,000 episodes of Jeopardy! In 2014, he claimed the record for hosting the most episodes of a single game show. Who did he snatch the title from?
Well, I know who's next.
Half a point for the name of the host he displaced, and half a point for the show helmed by that person. So this is a 2-point answer. When he took the crown as the hostess of the mostest, who did he bump into second? That was in 2014. Okay, the lines are open. You can start sending your answers into the sidekick. We're going to do a quick recap here. So here we go. I'm going to just ding the bell. Quick recap. We should always be dinging the bell during the quick recap.
Wow.
New rule.
Ding the bell all the time.
Well, okay. All right, so here we go. Who did Alex knock out of first place? Question.
No,
What?
that
Oh,
was,
wait a
that
minute.
was question 5.
Oh, that was question 5. Okay, so here's the quick recap. What is the name of the continental ice sheet that covered virtually all of Canada and the uppermost northern United States of America? That's question 1. Question 2 is, which event did not go down on September 10th? Muhammad Ali, Mackenzie King declaring war, the last execution by guillotine, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Cats closes on Broadway after 18 years, Clarence Thomas hearings begin for his place on the Supreme Court of the United States, and G, Joe DiMaggio hits 3 home runs in one game, being the first person to do that. All of those but one happened on September 10th. And of course, Alex Trebek began his tenure as the host of Jeopardy!
Praise be.
Yeah, in 1984. I wish I could flash to that picture of him with the adorable haircut, suit, and facial hair, but that's not in order right now for that.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh, well, no, not really. Question 3. Who created Jeopardy and wrote the iconic theme song? I mean, that song has a place in the cultural lexicon. Probably, I don't want to say forever, because, you know, Armageddon and doom and destruction is headed our way eventually. I mean, anyway, let's not go there tonight. Today, this is a hopeful week. We'll see what happens with the theme song, though. Okay.
It's just playing as the planet bursts. Just.
Question 4. Toward what Olympics did Alex Trebek run with a torch in 1996? I think more flood. I guess that will... Anyway, we'll talk about that in the after show. Question 5.
I guess we got picked up for a spin-off.
Who did Alex knock out of first place when he clinched the title for the hostess of the mostest 8,000 episodes of Jeopardy? He has hosted more than 8,000, and in 2014 claimed the record. Okay. So the answer is get them in. While you do that, I just want to take another quick second to shout out today's sponsor, if you didn't know, is Brooklyn's own Threes Brewing. I'm drinking The Logical Conclusion, which is an IPA. It's described as an easy IPA, which actually I'm definitely vibing on that. 7% alcohol by volume. It does have a weedy flavor. And it also... I just spilled it on my notes. It does have like sort of like a light minerality that I really like as well. And I want to let folks know, Threes Brewing is offering a discount to those of you who would like to order this beer. You can use the code Feelz Right. That's Feelz with a Z or a Z if you're in Canada. But if you're in Canada, they don't deliver to Canada. So, you know, they don't deliver to all the United States either. But I will tell you the states that they do deliver to, which are a lot. So I'm going to tell you what they are right now. New York State, Florida, Connecticut, New Jersey, North Carolina, Illinois, California, Colorado, Virginia, Vermont, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C. Mashley, you're in Washington,
Good
D.C.
states.
You could order some. Use the code Feelz Right. The Sidekick is going to drop the link to their shop and also the code in the chat bar for participants. Also, those of you who are out there watching on Twitch, if you live in any of those states and you want to get some Threes Brewing beer delivered to you, use the code Feelz Right.
Shop.threesbrewing.com
And get in on this gig. New York State, Florida, Connecticut, New Jersey, North Carolina, Illinois, California, Colorado, Virginia, Vermont, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C. And guess what? I learned today when I went to go pick up the beer that I personally am going to be receiving a kickback for any beer that is sold using this code, and have decided that any money that gets kicked back to me is going to get kicked forward to the California pot.
Oh, bonus.
So, use the code, buy the beer, get into it, support a small local Brooklyn business. They make a good they really actually do make a good product. And
That's true.
I like this can design. I want to drink this amongst a group of friends, although that's not really possible anymore.
Allowed. It's possible, but
I want to drink this beer on Zoom. Okay, now we have come to the part of the show where we are going to jump into the Feelz Right Spotlight. And today we're going to talk to our friends living up in, here we go, I'm going to unmute you. Oh, you unmuted yourself? Great. And hello, are you there, Hammocks?
Hello.
Hi.
Am I coming through okay?
Hi.
You're coming through. Hello, Hammocks. Now, this is half of the Hammocks team. Hammocks are split between Michigan and New York State. So the half that we're talking to now, you can order the Threes Brewing beer using that code. Those of you in the other part of the Hammocks in Michigan, you cannot.
It
Now-
is a fine establishment.
It is a fine establishment. Now, could you please introduce yourselves and tell everyone who your real names and where you're located, and let everyone know here?
Yeah, sure. Laura doesn't really like the spotlight, so I think her name's Laura. And my name's Steve, and we live up in the Hudson Valley, just about 2 hours north of the city, in Millerton, New York, which is kind of where Connecticut, Mass, and New York all kind of converge.
Okay, so it's sort of like a triangle of it's a collision triangle of multiple states. I see that Laura doesn't like to be in the spotlight. She's actually quite literally, I would say, in a shadow. Now listen, Steve and Laura, I interested to talk to you tonight because you are both educators. You're both teachers in the public school system. I know, just having been friends with you for a number of years, that you previously were teachers here in Brooklyn, New York, and I guess a couple years ago now moved up to Millerton, New York, like you said, and have been working in the public school system there. And I'm curious to know what it has been like working as an educator in a part of our state that is decidedly more conservative than New York City.
Do you want to take that?
No, I don't.
Well, let me just preface that we're both really tired, so I'll try to do my best to give a answer that's good.
Hey, do your best.
I'm melting as the clock continues to push forward, but yeah, I guess being a teacher is for me a very political act, in the sense that there are things that you value and you believe in, and I don't think that those leave you when you enter through a threshold and go into a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think your students can sense rather quickly with the lessons that you make and the materials you use and the conversations you have and the community that you build with your students and what you value, and they can kind of quickly pick up on where you align yourself politically. And I think that in a community that's not exposed to that, it can be kind of alarming to students. And I don't know, schools are kind of the last vestige of a place where people can have conversations, even though they might not agree on things. So I think it's the exact place for those kinds of conversations. And I think that we should be teaching towards justice and equality. And I think that those things just happen to align themselves with the progressive left. So I think it is a political act.
Yeah. Can you think of an example of a conversation that you had or a lesson that you delivered where you felt like your politics were on full display and that perhaps they were met positively by some students who maybe aren't receiving those same messages at home? I know that's a pretty specific question, but does anything come to mind?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can't think of a specific lesson, but I can think of the last few years, just like a best practice to start the year, you would introduce yourself and your pronouns to kids. And that was kind of disarming to kids that had never heard that. They're just expecting me to know by looking at them that they're cisgendered heteronormative kids, and then there are other kids in the class that were that really was a moment for them where they realized that they had somebody that saw the world in a similar way as them and valued people who might be different in a community. And I think that gives a lot of power to kids and makes them feel a part of a collective. And that's what we're trying to do, is get kids to kind of think differently. So when they leave a small town and go out into the world, they don't do harm to people that they don't know or understand, that they can kind of, understand there's different ways of knowing and being in the world. And you need to learn that in school so that that way you can walk through life doing good, and that's what schools are for.
How do you feel that you sort of representing these types of points of view, or even just challenging the concept of gender norms? I mean, we're getting heavy tonight here at Feelz Right Quiz Night, folks. But how do you feel that your messages, or even just opening that conversation up in a neutral way, like you may have done, how do you feel that has been received by students and their families in this pretty staunchly conservative area where you live?
Yeah, it's not good a lot of the times, to be completely frank.
Yeah.
And that's really not my problem. That is the problem of school leadership, not taking those hits that they need to take and making their stance clear that this is a place where all voices and all types of people and all walks of life are valued. And schools are kind of, they need to be a place where people are being critically conscious and are being open-minded, and schools need to center that first and foremost, and to center the voices of kids and identities that have been marginalized for a long time. So I see no problem with aligning myself with those views, because I need to sleep at night.
But does that not become your problem to a certain
Yes. Yeah, I almost lost my job last year because of it, but
right. Okay. So.
But then, and yeah, and that's like people have to do this work covertly or in silence or in small spaces, and that's problematic. Which is why people don't do this work, because status quo doesn't like it, and they're told to keep your politics out of the classroom and not engage in that. But we all know that silence is complicity, and that what is your job as an educator, right? So like it's different than just teaching curriculum, right? Yeah. It's about creating individuals that can go out and change their own situation, change situations for their families, for their communities. And that just happens to be work that's tough and courageous and is involved in like social justice issues. So that's the place for it. It's in classrooms, and particularly white districts that don't have any racial frame other than being white. Like schools are the place that has to do that work. Right? That's like the place that needs it. I don't need to have a conversation about Black Lives Mattering with a classroom full of Black kids. I need that conversation with a bunch of white kids. And that has to take place in schools. So I think that that's really important. And, I'm for a collective.
Yeah, it definitely does. And thank you to both of you for dedicating your life to that cause, because I know I've known you both for a really long time, and you are such great people and so passionate about what you do, and we need and rely on people like you out there in the classrooms, interacting and interfacing with these kids. And like you said, it's one of the last places where a legitimate conversation can go down, and thank Goddess that there are people like you out there doing that work. So thank you, and thank you for being here and a part of this, and sending you a ton of energy to keep doing the work that you're doing in the way that you're doing it. And we love you.
I'm very sweaty after this, just for the record.
All right, I'm sweaty too. I'm just sweaty all the time, every time I
All right. All right, we love you both. Thank you.
Hey, love you guys.
Love you too.
All right, okay, cool. So thank you, Hammocks, part 1 of 2 or part 2 of 2. I don't want to classify you as either 1 or 2 necessarily, not trying to imply any kind of hierarchy, New York over Michigan, that's for sure. Okay, so before we launch into round 3, let's get a point update.
Did you do the answers yet for round 2?
Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, so let's do the answers for round 2, and then we're going to get a point update from the sidekick. Question 1, the ice sheet. Name of the continental ice sheet. You know what? Instead of a clap, Throwing a ding. All right, so what is the name of the continental ice sheet that covered virtually all of Canada and significant parts of the northern USA, retreated 8,000 to 9,000 years ago, making way for the first inhabitants, who were the Ojibwe people, whose populations spread all across, not all across, but significant parts of Ontario and central northern American states. The ice sheet is the Laurentide ice sheet. The Laurentide ice sheet, Laurentide, Laurentide ice sheet. Question 2, multiple choice. Muhammad Ali. A, that is the one event that did not occur on September 10th. Muhammad Ali did not land the Phantom Punch and knock Sonny Liston out in 2 minutes and 12 seconds on September 10th, 1965. That went down on May 25th. That went down in Gemini season, when Muhammad Ali was still widely known as Cassius Clay at that point. Question 3. Despite knowing that the quiz show format had lost credibility, this media mogul said, you know what? I want to start Jeopardy. And you know what else? I'm going to write the theme song. Who am I? Merv Griffin. Merv Griffin. Who knew? Merv Griffin. Question 4. Some of you may have known, actually. Yeah. Okay, wow, cool. Question 4. Alex Trebek cemented his cultural icon status, the films, the TV, all of it, and the torch bearing as he ran towards Atlanta in 1996. My mom, I think if my mom's out there watching, Les, do you still have the Atlanta 1996 swatch that I picked up for you as a gift? Don't know why I thought that would be a good gift. We didn't go to the Olympics, but I did get you that watch in the mid-90s. Question 5. Alex Trebek hosted more than 8,000 episodes of Jeopardy! 2014, most ever. Who did he knock out of first place? Half a point for Bob Barker. Half a point for The Price is Right. Okay, so now I'm going to pass things over to the sidekick, who's going to give us a point update on the week.
Okay, well, 2/3 of the way in, and how are we doing? Well, let's find out. Drum roll for you. In third place so far, we have The Damn It Janets, Lone Wolf, Shameless, Sleepy in the Suburbs, and Today's the Bidet. In second place so far, we have Baby Sharks. On their big week, Floopzilla, GNO, Nom Chomp only packed 3 pairs of undies, which leaves us in first place. Oh, we've got 2 teams in first place. Is it you? Is it you? It's you and you. It's Claudia Conway Emancipators and Dr. Quizzin Trivia Woman.
Slow clap, wow, bell. Slow clap, bell. Slow clap. All right, so now it feels right to launch into
round 3, which this week is very special. It's called Trilogies for round 3.
Trilogies. So for this round, we are going to be thespianizing, meaning acting out scenes. The scenes aren't just any old scenes, though. In celebration of this being the 3rd round of our 3rd episode of our 3rd season, we are focusing on trilogies. Okay? So the following scenes are from films that are trilogies. Some of them have gone on to have other releases associated with them, like reboots and remakes and later addendums and whatnot. But in all cases, there are 3 core films that formed the franchises from which these scenes have been plucked. Okay? We will perform the scene once. You must name the film franchise for half a point, and the specific film from the trilogy for another half point. Okay, so each answer is a 2-parter. Half a point for the overall trilogy name, half a point for the specific film within the trilogy. Okay, so without further ado, let me just prepare my papers.
Break a leg, everybody.
All right, break a leg, us. All right, here we go. So without further ado,
Drop
here
it
is
across.
scene 1.
I want to ask you some questions. You familiar with that face?
I don't know. My memory ain't so great.
Oh yeah? Maybe this will refresh your memory.
I don't know. Still kind of hazy.
How about this?
Yeah, I remember him. I used to see him around. Why do you want to know?
I can't tell you that.
Yeah, well, maybe this'll help.
I really don't think I should.
Yeah? You still don't think so?
Alright, his name is Nordberg, he's a cop.
He was no cop. He was dealing H.
What?
I'm telling you, he was dirty.
Ah, you sniveling scum, I ought to run you in right now.
All right. He worked at Ludwig's Shipping. He tried to push something on one of my boys, I swear it. So what are you gonna do about it, copper?
Why should I tell you?
Maybe this'll help.
I still don't think I should tell you that.
Can you spot me a 20? How about now?
Alright, I'm going down to Ludwig's office. I'll find out if you're telling the truth.
And scene! Okay, what is the trilogy? And what specific film in that trilogy is that scene from?
Take my money back now, thank you.
Okay.
Also, this was a photo of Steven as a child that we used as a prop, okay?
Well, it still is a photo of me as a child. It was me as a child, encapsulated in photo form.
Yeah, you know what
I think it's a pretty cute photo, and I actually still have that outfit in the adult version. Okay, so here we go. So, ready? Okay. Yeah, regroup, get that all going in your minds. Okay, so now here we go. Scene 2.
Let him try and track down the second possible killer. Debbie Salt doesn't exist.
You're as crazy as your son was.
What did you say? Was that a negative, disparaging remark about my son? About my Billy?
No, Billy was a good boy. Billy was perfect. You did a bang-up job, Mrs. Loomis.
Not wise to patronize me with a gun, Sydney. Randy spoke poorly of Billy and I got a little knife happy. I was a good mother. You know what makes me sick? I'm sick to death of people saying that it's all the parents' fault. That it all starts with the family. You want to blame someone? Why don't you blame your mother? She's the one who stole my husband and broke up my family. And then you took my son. You don't know what it is to be a mother, to raise a child, to teach him, and guide him, and abandon him.
Scene. What trilogy is that from? What film in that trilogy? Got nervous that Jeff Probst was going to get knocked off the back of the table there. Okay. All right. So regroup. Okay, I'm going to take a sip of logical conclusion from Three's Brewing. Can be yours. Feelz with a Z, right? This is the code for 10% off. Multiple states. It's available to you. Okay.
Multiple locations in New York City as well. Park Slope and Williamsburg.
All over.
Or Greenpoint.
I think you can buy it in the
Greenpoint?
You can
Or
buy it in the store across the street. Okay, so here we go. Ready and ready, ready. Scene 3.
Okay, well, we've heard from you, Scott. Now, you tell us a little bit about yourself.
The details of my life are quite inconsequential.
Oh, no, please. Let's hear about your childhood.
Very well. Where do I begin? My father was a relentlessly self-improving boulangerie owner from Belgium with low-grade narcolepsy and a penchant for buggery. My mother was a 15-year-old French prostitute named Chloe with webbed feet. My father would womanize, he would drink, he would make outrageous claims like he invented the question mark. Sometimes he would accuse chestnuts of being lazy, the sort of general malaise that only the genius possess and the insane lament. My childhood was typical. Summers in Rangoon, luge lessons. In the spring, we'd make meat helmets. When I was insolent, I was placed in a burlap bag and beaten with reeds. Pretty standard, really. At the age of 12, I received my first scribe. At the age of 14, a Zoroastrian named Vilma ritualistically shaved my testicles. There really is nothing like a shorn scrotum. It's breathtaking. I suggest you try it.
You know, we have to stop.
And scene! What trilogy, what film from the trilogy? Okay, here we go. Scene 4. Always knew someday you'd come walking back through my door. I never doubted that. Something made it inevitable. So, what are you doing here in Nepal?
I need one of the pieces your father collected.
I learned to hate you in the last 10 years.
I never meant to hurt you.
I was a child. I was in love. It was wrong and you knew it.
You knew what you were doing.
Now I do. This is my place. Get out! Majan! Tamigaru! Balianu!
I did what I did. You don't have to be happy about it, but maybe we could help each other out now. I need one of the pieces your father collected. Bronze piece about this size with a hole in it off-center with a crystal. You know the one I mean.
Yeah, I know it.
What's that mean? Where's Abner?
Abner's dead. Scene! What trilogy? What film in the trilogy? Okay. All right. Okay, we've got one more. Here we go.
I'm ready to act.
Yes, scene 5. How did we get in this mess? I really don't know. We seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life. I've got to rest before I fall apart. My joints are almost frozen. What a desolate place this is. Where do you think you're going? Well, I'm not going that way. It's much too rocky. This way is much easier. What makes you think there are settlements over there? Don't get technical with me. What mission? What are you talking about? I've just about had enough of you. Go that way. You'll be malfunctioning within a day, you nearsighted scrap pile. Scene. What's the trilogy? What film in the trilogy? Okay, have at it. The lines are open. You can start sending your answers to the sidekick, Monsieur Jefford, which is Mr. Jeffords in French.
Oh, how multicultural.
Did we ever get a response back from Spanish Inquisition about how long the trip is from
It's
Barrie
about 3
to
hours.
Sudbury? About 3 hours. Okay, so, well, that makes sense. I guess Barrie is, 2.5 hours from Toronto, more like 5 in traffic, am I right? Toronto is out of control, the greater Toronto area, sprawling like LA. But that's something we can talk about in the after show. Okay, so let's get these answers into the sidekick lickety-split. We're not doing any kind of recaps, so your answers should pretty much be in. If you need another quick 15 seconds or so, flash a thumb up using your reaction button because it's a little bit easier for me to see on this end. Looks like, okay, Claudia Conway needs a couple more seconds. So does Today's the Bidet. You guys have 10. So does Sleepy in the Suburbs. Okay, Sleepy in the Suburbs. People need a little time. I mean, this.
They were just so enwrapped in the performance.
Yeah, they almost.
understand.
I'm sure that many of you forgot to even try to identify what the trilogy was, and what film within the trilogy it was, because you were just watching the thespianism.
The thespianism.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing, while you're getting your answers, I do want to mention is that we have been posting a weekly clue to our Instagram page, which is at Feelz Right Quiz Night. That's Feelz with a Z or a Z if you're in Canada. That does apply in the case of the Instagram. We post a clue collage every week that has embedded in it in some way, shape, or form pretty much everything you need to know for the quiz.
Just about.
And then what happens is on the Tuesday following the quiz, we unpack that clue collage and all the little pieces in it and what they were meant to signify from the quiz. So if you're not following us on Instagram, those of you who are contestants in the Zoom room, or those of you who are watching on Twitch, our stream queens, then please, follow us on Instagram. You could be the, I think, 179th follower, which is huge. Really want to crack 200. I think that would feel really...
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so listen, I'm dinging the bell on the closing of the window. What, you think that...
I don't know. I got a lot of people.
All right, okay, so that's it. Get your answers in. If you haven't gotten your answers in, get them in right this second, okay?
Too late! Just kidding. I
kidding.
forgive you.
Just kidding, he forgives you. Okay, so let's comb through some answers, okay? Here we go. So, number 1 was, here we go, Naked Gun. From Naked Gun, we will accept Naked Gun 1. The film is actually called From the Files of Police Squad. So we were looking for Naked Gun 1 or Naked Gun Files of the Police Squad. Okay, number 2, scene 2. John took on the Laurie Metcalf role, and I was Nev Campbell in Scream 2. Canadian. Scream 2. Laurie Metcalf delivering some campy goodness in Scream 2. Number 3, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. We were looking for Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery for the full point there. Number 3, Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones and... what's the film called
Raiders
again?
of the Lost Ark.
Oh my god. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Of course, John in the indelible performance of Harrison. John as Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I mean,
as
if you didn't
Indiana
get it,
Jones.
I take this personally.
And
That's
me,
how good the performance was.
me as the actress who played Marion. I actually don't know who she is. If you watch this film back and you watch that scene in particular, her object work is just any actors out there, her object work is horrible. She's
It's
like,
that direction, I think.
no, that's on her. She's like carrying an empty, anyway, we'll talk about it in the after
She
show.
goes back to get the dishes she already got.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like, hun, no. I don't mean that condescendingly. It's just not, it's not good. Anyway, we'll talk about it in the after show, okay? Number 5, of course, Star Wars. Star Wars. John take as R2-D2, and I, of course, as C-3PO, somewhat morphing into Dr. Evil at times, it felt like, at least.
Well,
On this end. On the experience.
that's live theater, folks.
Yeah, exactly. So we were looking for Star Wars A New Hope. We would have also accepted Episode 4. Yeah. Okay. All right. So with that, that brings us to the end of this episode of Feelz Right Quiz Night. And yeah, until next week.
I think there's one more slide of the before you
Oh,
preemptively.
yeah. I wanted to show us the clue collage. This was
from
this
this
week's
week.
clue
See how
collage.
all the answers are right
All the
there?
answers are right there. It might be a little befuddling right now, but tomorrow on Instagram, you're going to see all the nooks and crannies of how this connects to... I mean, you can see right there, Star Wars, obviously.
Hello.
All right, well, listen, until next week, sleep tight, fight the good fight, like Steve and Laura are doing in Millerton, New York. Be polite, and always do what feels right.
Good night.